Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing another February TBR. Yes, I am being extra and I'm making 2 TBR videos for February. The first TBR video that I just posted the other day was mainly for the OLYMPICSATHON. The OLYMPICSATHON is a readathon that's happening in February that I am hosting, so I wanted to make a video that was entirely dedicated to that readathon. But the thing is that readathon only lasts for 18 days. It goes on from the 2nd of February until the 20th of February. So that actually means that there are 10 more days in February for me to plan a TBR for. So I still wanted to randomize my books and I still wanted to do that entire TBR sort of thing. And I also have another thing I'm very excited to share. The thing is, I've been thinking about how I could gamify my book buying. This is something I have thought about for a while actually. I've talked about perhaps reading 5 books and then being allowed to buy one, or if there's any other ways I could do this, but I never figured out a way I could make it more fun than just like, oh, you get $1 for every book you read. I know that many people gamify their book buying. Emma from Drinking by My Shelf has her book trail sort of thing. We also have Caitlin who does the Litland thing, where she gets to go on like an epic shopping spree if she reaches the end of her TBR game. I know that Maddie from Book Browsing Blog just posted her own game for book buying. So like, I've been wanting to do this, but I never figured out how. So I went to Twitter and literally asked, how can I gamify my book buying? And of course, Kevin, the oh so brilliant Kevin from Much Ado About Books, I will link him down below, he suggested that I draw prompts for my book buying. And I love that. I did a similar thing for punishments last summer for my 1-year anniversary here on BookTube. And this is basically the same concept, but for book buying. So, let me introduce to you the chest of treasure, or something along those lines. I haven't fully decided on a name yet. This is a treasure chest filled with book buying prompts. All these black notes here are prompts for books. I think the original plan was just to have like 5 or 10 notes. I think I went a bit insane and it's definitely over like 40-50 notes in here. So yeah, I went a bit crazy when I started making the notes, but I was having a good time. The idea is that every time I'm allowed to buy a book, I grab a note from this chest. And all of these notes have different prompts for what sort of book I can buy. So we have prompts for genres, for example, fantasy, romance, contemporary, sci-fi. We have prompts for book format, ebook, hardback, paperback. We also have notes such as for a video or a cover buy. Sometimes the note might just say $10 or $20. It might also be a new release or a book by a favorite author. Prompts that you typically get for reading are prompts I have for my book buying. It's not so strict, but it's some sort of direction of where I might go with my book buying. I love this idea, so thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it so much. I've told you about the purpose and the prompts in here. But what are the actual rules? When can I grab a note from this chest? Basically, there are a few ways for me to be allowed to grab a note from the chest and go and buy a book. First of all, when I complete my randomized TBR. So when I do these randomized TBRs, I usually have about 5 categories, depends. Today I will only have 3. When I do make my randomized TBR, if I, within that month, complete the entire randomized TBR, meaning I read all of those books that were randomly picked for me, I'm allowed to grab a prompt. We also have that I'm allowed to grab a prompt whenever I finish 5 books on my physical TBR. I have talked about this a lot. One of my goals for the year is to halve my physical TBR. All of the unread books on my shelves, I want to try and read them. So every time I read 5 books off of my shelves, and they need to be books that are new to me, so not a reread as for example Poppy War, that won't really count for anything. Whenever I have finished reading 5 books off of my physical TBR, I'm allowed to grab a note. Also, when I do my monthly TBRs, it's not always that I can fit in all the books I plan on reading within my randomized TBR, because sometimes I'm reading books for readathons or readalongs or something else. So every time I complete my extended TBR, meaning the books I usually add at the end because I'm doing a buddy read or I'm doing a read-along or something. Every time I complete my extended TBR, I also get to grab a new book buying prompt. And finally, the final rule or way for me to be allowed to buy a book is by completing a readathon. So with this, I basically mean that whatever I'm aiming for in a readathon, if it is to complete all of the prompts in the readathon or all of the team prompts, all of the main prompts, however that readathon is set up, and whatever goal I aim for, usually I do aim for all of the prompts. Basically, if I complete, if I win, if I succeed in a readathon, I'm allowed to grab a book buying prompt as well. Those are 4 ways for me to grab a book buying prompt from the chest. There is one exception, possibly 2. The thing is, I'm really trying to restrict myself in my book buying. I want to be more purposeful with my book buying. I want to focus more on the books I own. I also wish to utilize my e-reader more. So there are many reasons why I'm doing this, but I will have a couple of exceptions for when I'm allowed to buy a book, even though I have not grabbed a prompt for that book. And the main exception to this entire game is when I'm buying sequels in the series. So for example, I'm about to finish reading Jade City today. So I actually, in preparation for that, picked up Jade War. I obviously want to continue with the series. I don't see a need for me to restrict myself when it comes to continuing with and finish series. So this is one exception. The other one, which I'm, to be honest, not entirely sure if I will have as an exception or not, if I'm able to pre-order a book with a signature, I'm allowed to purchase it. This is something that never happens. First of all, I feel like pre-orders are really rare in Sweden. Usually we just buy things when they are released, so it's not common at all. But there is one example when I pre-ordered a book because it was by my favorite author and it was signed. And that was for the 3rd book in the Beer Town series by Fredrik Backman. Yes, I still haven't finished it. That's an entirely different thing. The bookstore made it possible for you to pre-order it, and it's also signed. If a similar opportunity would present itself, which I don't think it will, for example, if Fredrik Backman will release another book in 2022 and it will be signed, I'm gonna allow myself to buy that signed. But other than those 2 things, no exceptions to the rules. Honestly, I mainly see benefits with this thing. Not only will it restrict my book buying a bit and make me save some money, it will also help me to focus more on the books I actually own, which once again is my biggest goal for 2022. Also, it will make me think a bit more strategically with my TBRs. Obviously, there's not much I can affect with the randomized TBR, books are picked at random, that's the entire deal. But when I plan readathons, it's been a long while since I actually completed a readathon. And I love to complete things. Like that's, it sounds weird, but like I love the satisfaction of knowing I succeeded in something. And it's been a while, a good while, since I actually completed and succeeded fully by fulfilling all of the prompts in a readathon. So by having this rule that if I complete a readathon, I'm allowed to draw a book buying prompt, I hope to be more engaged in readathons, and I also hope to be a bit more strategic and smart when I plan my reading. And that's the introduction for the chest of treasure. Unfortunately, I'm certain, I know, I won't be able to pull any prompts for February. When I got this idea and started to plan the introduction of this video, I obviously wanted to show how it worked and draw some prompts. But the thing is, I have not finished my randomized TBR, I have not finished my extended TBR, I did not complete any readathon, and I have not read 5 books of my physical TBR, meaning I'm not allowed to draw any prompts. So yeah, that would have been fun to show, but let's close this again because I won't get to use you. Unfortunately, no showcasing of my book buying game, but hopefully in a month we can do that. And also, just to mention, the prompts don't need to be used all at once instantly. I can save them up, I can keep them somewhere and perhaps collect them so I can have a greater haul. I can use those prompts whenever, however I want. Okay, so that's it for the chest of treasure. And now, because I actually do want to grab a prompt in my next TBR video, I have decided that I will, even though I already put up a February TBR video, I'm still gonna randomize some books off my shelves because I think it's fun. Once again, if I complete my randomized TBR, I get to buy a book. This time I will only do the randomization for 3 different categories. We have my physical TBR, we have my Goodreads want to read list, and we also have my Goodreads reading challenge. Also, I do have a bit of an extended TBR as well. I'm co-hosting the Poppy War read-along together with Lorena, Jane, and Megan. And in February, we need to read The Dragon Republic. I read these books before, but I need to still read this one, and it's a chunky one. So this one needs to go on the TBR. I also, just as I mentioned, hope to read Jade War in February, because I made up this plan that I wanted to read Jade City in January, Jade War in February, and then Jade Legacy in March. That is the plan, and I'm gonna try and stick to it. So the first category that I'm gonna pick some books from is my physical TBR. I actually just did a count of my books, and I have 95 options on my physical TBR. So basically, I'm just gonna pull up a random number generator. I'm gonna put down from 1 to 95, and then I will randomize a number. Whatever number it is, I will count it on my shelves, and that will be the book I need to read. So I'm screen recording currently. I think I'm gonna put down from 1 to 95. And are we ready to randomize? This can go, like, I have chunky books on my shelves. I have currently reading books on my shelves. So let's see, randomize. 3, 2, 1. 46, okay. I'm gonna put my phone on my gimbal and we're gonna see which book was picked. The number was 46, so let's just start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Oh my god, yes. And number 46 on my shelves was XOXO by Axio, and I'm actually so excited about this. I will read it in February, the month of love. It's a YA romance, contemporary, about K-pop. I've been in a more Korean, Asian culture sort of mood lately. It's a stunning edition, like look at it, it is stunning. It's also not too long. It's not too heavy, not too difficult. I'm happy with this. I actually think I will get to this one in February, so that is exciting. First pick done. Now we're gonna have a look on my Goodreads want to read list. This one is always insane because it can literally go in any sort of way. I put so many random books on my Goodreads want to read list, so this is definitely a gamble. So I'm just gonna pull a number between 1 and 517. Are we ready to randomize? 3, 2, 1. 487. That means it's probably a newer addition to my list, which could be good. So this is my Goodreads want to read list, and we have the highest number first, so I'm just gonna scroll down until I find 487. It's not gonna be on this page, I think. No, exactly. It will be on the next page. If it happens to be a book that hasn't even been released yet, because I see that there's a lot of new releases, upcoming releases on this one, I'm just gonna draw a new number. Hopefully that's okay. But yeah. Okay, 487. Oh my god. Okay, 91. So we have some fantasy, some smut, some fantasy. Oh! Well, that's interesting. The book that was pulled was Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. And what's interesting is that I actually mentioned this one in my OLYMPICSATHON TBR video. So it's not on my OLYMPICSATHON TBR, but it's one of the suggestions I have for translated books. This book seems really interesting. It's something about basically a man who put together corpses from body parts in a US occupied Baghdad in order to make the government actually recognize these corpses as people worthy of a burial. And then I think one of those corpses goes missing, and somehow this man has created a monster. I know that Emma, her channel is like Emmy Star. She's the coziest person also. She really loved this one. I think it was amongst her top 3 books of 2021. So that's what made me put this on the list, and I'm actually quite intrigued. So this will be interesting. So the last and final category that I will randomize a book from today is my Goodreads Choice Awards Reading Challenge. Just like last year, I have challenged myself to try and read both the winners and also some of the nominees from the Goodreads Choice Awards. So what I've done is that in my life journal, I have made these spreads dedicated to books from the awards that I'm interested in reading. So this is basically just the list I will have a look at. And currently I have 48 books on this list that I still need to read. So I'm just gonna draw a random number from 1 to 48. Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. 16. Okay, so number 16. So welcome to my lab. Here we have the books on my Goodreads Choice Award spread, and it was number 16, so let's just count the books I still have not read. So 1, 2, I read that one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Can you all see what it is? So I got number 16, and number 16 in my Goodreads Choice Awards challenge is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. One of the most talked about books of last year, at least the end of last year. It ended up second place in the romance category for the Goodreads Choice Awards. I've been meaning to read this one. I'm also excited that I'm reading it in February, the month of love. It works out, okay? It works out. So for my February TBR, these two books were picked together with Frankenstein in Baghdad. I'm actually quite happy with that one. None of these books are too long, which is good, because as I said, I have an extended TBR. I also need to read these two. I need to prioritize the Dragon Republic, of course, but if I can, because I've just set my mind to it, I would love to get to Jade War as well. And this is already looking quite insane. And then we need to consider the fact that I have 9 more books on my TBR for the OLYMPICSATHON. In total, it adds up to 14 books, which is insane. 14 books in 28 days means I need to finish a book every other day. I'm not sure if I can make it happen, but I'm gonna freaking try, okay? February will be a very interesting month. Still, I'm very glad that these two books ended up on my TBR, because I have a secret TBR, secret project in mind. Perhaps not so secret now, but last year I had a secret project in February, and I had so much fun working on that one. I am glad that I'm getting romances on my February TBR, and I want to do the same project, secret TBR, again, but because of the OLYMPICSATHON, I'm of course gonna prioritize the OLYMPICSATHON. Perhaps the final week of February I might be able to read this one. I was thinking about perhaps doing it in either final week of February or first week of March, but since these two ended up on my February TBR, I might actually try and do my best in February and get to these books. So that would be amazing if that happens. I have a lot to get through and read in February. Insane, but hopefully it will work out. So just to clarify now, if I finish these two books and Frankenstein in Baghdad, I'm allowed to draw a prompt from my chest of treasure. If I, in addition to these 3 books, also finish reading these two, I'm allowed to draw another buying prompt. So that's sort of the idea of how the book buying game will work. So hopefully you also have a better understanding of how this one will work. And of course, if I complete my OLYMPICSATHON TBR, I will also be allowed to draw a prompt. I'm really gonna try. This is what I mean, that I will be more dedicated and more ambitious, I guess, to actually complete all of my TBRs, which is good. That's actually it for this video. I introduced the chest of treasures and I did randomize my TBR because I just love doing that and I wanted to still have a video dedicated to this. I'm happy I made it. Sorry for being extra with 2 February TBRs, but honestly I'm the one who's in trouble now because I have 14 books to read in February. Please let me know what you think of my chest of treasure, of my book buying game. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after.